thank you for joining us here. So let's get to the explanation. One thing I like to do when I talk about how a game plays is I start with the basics when it comes to multi-ball. Most any game is going to have some kind of base multi-balls in it, and Metallica is by no means any different. It's got 4 main multi-balls, all of which are going to just come across as what someone would think they would normally just do and not realize the underlying game behind it. So we're going to start with talking about just the multi-balls. That way you have an idea where they are and how they function. You don't need to know super amount of details. You just need to know how to start them and what is needed in order to start them. So, hey, Lorelion, how's it going? So let's start with the most obvious, the one that everybody says that this game is all about, and that's Sparky right in the back. Sparky being the guy sitting in the chair. All you got to do is, and we're going to use 1 because it's going to be the quietest song for me to be able to talk over. That was a fantastic catch. So Sparky right in the back in the middle. Hit him enough times and it will straight up start Sparky Multi-Ball. Hey, somebody followed me on my personal channel, and thank you for that. I can hear it in the background. This is a premium Lorelion. So if we shoot Sparky, you're going to see it's going to make a noise, and you make progress towards it. I believe it's like 8 shots to start the first multi-ball, and that will vary maybe if the machine's set up differently, but generally it's about 8. One thing you can keep in mind, though, is right in front of Sparky, there's 3 inserts. You can see one of them right now on the left is flashing. As you make progress through Sparky, you'll start to fully light those inserts. So give you just an idea of where you are progress-wise. That way, if you're not looking up at the DMD and you don't see the little gauge that goes across, you can be like, oh, I'm about halfway-ish there. Oh, now we're getting closer. You can see that we've got 2 lit. And then once you get 1 shot away from starting it, you will have it scrolling back and forth the way you see it right now. So that's how you know 1 more shot to Sparky starts Sparky Multi-Ball. Also, the flasher insert right in front of Sparky is lit and flashing. Yeah, sometimes I get lucky and my tutorials work out this well. So there's one really important thing that is a constant across all multi-balls in Metallica. And that is, once you start a multi-ball, you can add a ball as well as do 2x scoring, as well as give yourself a short ball save once per any multi-ball. So once you start the multi-ball, you want to put a little bit of thought and focus towards that. And it's something you always want to try to do because it's just going to make it last longer and give you more points out of it. So what it comes down to is there's 4 pick targets. They're all stand-up targets. 2 on the left, right around the cross. You can see one of them's lit solid, one of them's flashing. And then 2 on the right ramp. Both of them are flashing. I'm going to keep moving the ball around here. Hey-o. Shite Bill, thank you for the follow. So, you've got 2 flashing, 1 flashing, 1 solid. If they're solid, it means you've hit them. If they're flashing, it means they still need to be hit. And the picks kind of work as a set. So, it's not until you hit all 4 picks that you complete the set of picks. Alright? So, basically, it doesn't matter if you... well, put it this way. When you start the multi-ball, whatever amount of picks you have left to hit is what you need to hit to complete a set. So I've got 3 left. So we need to do 3 picks in order to complete the set. Once you complete the set of picks during multi-ball, the snake mouth over here is going to, if you're playing on a premium or LE, it'll actually open, allowing you to shoot a ball in. On a pro, the difference will be the light on the top of its head will start to flash. Since the Pro has got a mouth on the snake that's always open, but the Premium will close to stop that. So let's start the multi-ball. And what we're going to do is we need to hit the rest of those picks. So Sparky is a 3-ball multi-ball with a very solid amount of ball save time. Very friendly. So this is a great multi-ball to have in order to make some progress. So right now, my only concern is trying to actually hit these picks. So as soon as I get a ball, we're going to see what we can do. And the worst case is if you miss a pick, we hit one there. There's 2, 3, there's 4. So we got all 4 lit. Or completed a set. Let's quickly try to shoot into the snake mouth, and we failed. Oh well. The snake mouth was open, the light was flashing. If we'd shot in there, we would have got an atta ball. That was about the worst possible outcome of that multi-ball. That's okay. So we'll stop that one. So that's Sparky multi-ball. If you wanted to start it again, you just got to hit Sparky more and more and more. Instead of like 8 shots, it moves up to like 12 or so the second time. There's some additional lighting here on the premium, but the premium Metallica does have an exceptionally good light show as is. I do have extra lighting in the apron, some other areas in the back. The mirror blades on the side add an extra kick. I've got under cab, back box, speaker lighting that's all tied in with the game as well. And some of the lights and flashers have been changed out to make them a little more pop. That's a good question, Gravis-Ton. I actually don't know. I've never actually... I have noticed sometimes that it feels like it gives me 2 hits, and maybe that's why. I honestly never noticed that before. That's alright. You can throw a heart on there. No worries. Thank you, Lockboy. Alright, so now let's talk about cross multi-ball. This one is a little bit different in that you have to make all your progress on a single ball. If you drain, your progress goes back to starting over. So let's plunge the ball around here. Get a hold of it. Nice thing about the cross targets is you can hit them with either flipper. You can backhand it or forehand it. So what you're going to notice here is there's an in-lane set of drop targets, 3 of them, and you have to knock them all down. So we got the first one. Now you can get to the second.
Shoot the targets and bash the gray part.
We got the second one down. Now we can get to the third. So now that we got them all down, it's open in the back. And basically what you need to do is you need to shoot it back there 2 more times to start the multi-ball. After the first one, you're going to notice the lighting on the game is going to change. The flasher in the back is going to start going. Mine's blue. I actually have colors tied to each of the 4 things. So you also notice the colors around here have all gone blue as well. And also my undercab, speakers, apron lighting, and back box lighting are all blue. So blue is like tied to cross. Now, if you're playing a regular premium, all your lights here are still going to be blue. But the one back there will be at least your flashers going. You're just going to be looking for that flasher going. So one more shot on that, we'll start cross multi-ball. Cross multi-ball is a 2-ball multi-ball with a much shorter ball save time. But we can try to get it to 3-ball by once again clearing our pick targets. Now currently, all 4 of our pick targets need to be hit. So let's see if we can get lucky and show this off better this time. And like I said, the nice thing is, even if I miss a pick target, chances are that means I've made a shot. So there's another one. So we only have 1 pick target left, it looks like. There we go, we got all 4. Snake mouth is open. You can see it's flashing there. If we can get it inside the snake mouth, we are golden. Right now I got a ball stuck in the back orbit sitting on like the post. So I got a little bit of leniency here. There it is. So ball locked, all scores 2x. Throws another ball out there. And now we can go to town. And if you needed to know what to shoot for during the multi-ball, simply, pretty much any lit shot does something good.
Shoot the grave marker.
And it'll tell you, shoot the... You can always consider that whatever you're playing, if you're playing Sparky, shoot Sparky. If you're playing Cross, shoot Grave Marker. You can see I'm going for a Super Jackpot now. There we go. Love the lighting on the Super Jackpot. Also a solid 1 million points. The Super Jackpot on Cross is terrible. So the ball's actually back out of the snake mouth, but I have cleared another set of drop targets. You can shoot it back into the snake mouth again during the same multi-ball, like that. It'll hold the ball and give you 2x scoring, but you do not get the add a ball save function after the first time. So the ball save add a ball is a one-shot deal, but it does give you 2x scoring, which is pretty nice. And it, in theory, if you're playing the premium, eliminates a ball from play to make life a little bit easier. There you go, that's Cross Multi-Ball. We might be able to do that, Gravis. Hey, Pterodactyl Balls, how's it going? This table is heavily modded. I did a little bit of modding, but this is like the first new in box table I ever bought. I bought it from Pinball Refinery, who's was, but still is. Now it's just one guy.
Player one.
They were a dealer that would sell machines, but they would also mod them for you. And a lot of mods, they have a mod store. You can buy mods directly from them. But if you buy a new in-box machine, you do have the option of them modding up your machine for you, so when it gets delivered, it's already got a lot of stuff already added. And the price for doing that was so good that I couldn't say no. And it had a lot of stuff that I would have been very interested in buying anyway, so having them put it on for me was kind of a no-brainer. So they did a lot of stuff. They also did like the painting of Sparky, the painting of the hammer for me. That stuff I wouldn't have done on my own. I'd still send it out to somebody to do that for me. But having them kind of integrate all this stuff in and have the wiring and all that be tied in very nicely for any of the mods is a nice benefit. Plus, the powder coating, powder coated the apron, the armor, the habit trails. They powder coated my coin door, even the service rails under the playfield. I had that done. That's right, Boomer. Hey, Shay Bill, how's it going? Thank you very much, man. So on the Pro, the hammer is not there at all. It's just a captive ball, which there's still a captive ball under the hammer. And there's also a magnet under the hammer on the Premium LE. So that whole mechanism of locking the balls under the table, physically locking them, is not there on the Premium, or on the Pro, sorry. On the Pro, it's just a virtual lock. You hit the captive ball until it actually says ball lock, hit it again, and it locks the ball. That's the big difference. Alright, so now let's talk about Snake. We're probably not going to start Snake Multi-Ball, but I'll at least tell you what it's about and how to start it. So while you're playing, and it's going to vary from Premium to Pro, but right now you've got the Snake. His mouth is open, and the light is on over his head. That's the key. If you're on the Pro, make sure that the light has to be on his head. If you shoot it in the Snake's mouth... Oh, we locked the ball for Coffin there. Alright, ball, come on down here. There we go. So you get a snake letter. You can see I got an S in the word snake. Now, for me, on the Premium LE, the mouth closes on the snake. So I have the option, I can either make one of the lit snake shots on the board, or I can hit the snake square in his jaw, stupid jaw again, and he opens his mouth. Now, if I shoot it back into the snake, I get another letter. And to demonstrate otherwise, on the Pro, the snake jaw doesn't move. It's just an open mouth. So if you keep shooting into his mouth, you don't get more letters, you don't get anything. You have to make a shot that's lit. So let's try to make the shot there on the right orbit. Now you can see his mouth opened up again. The light is lit, although it's a little bit flickery on his head. And we're ready to shoot him right in his... Whoa. Mouth again. That one kind of verged over that way a little bit. So if you collect all the snake letters, you'll start Snake Multi-Ball, which is another 2-ball multi-ball. Once again, you can add a ball to it.
Never saw a snake before.
Yes, yes. They're all in the trough. Okay. So now let's talk about the last multi-ball, which is Coffin Multi-Ball. And if it's a pro, you just keep bashing it.
Gotta love that shit.
So every time I hit the underneath the hammer, like that, you collect a coffin and move towards lock.
Lock is lit.
Once you hit it enough times, you'll light a lock. On the Pro, it'll just be a virtual lock. Hit it again and it locks the ball. And it'll light a light actually on the playfield to show you how many you've gotten locked. On the Premium LE, there's a magnet that has to grab it. Once it grabs it with the magnet, it'll lock the ball and store it under the playfield. So if we keep bashing it, it would take a bunch of hits. One thing to note though, well actually that doesn't really note. Never mind. So if we just keep bashing it, it's like 7 more, 6 more. This is the type of thing you wouldn't just go for like this. That would be a bit ridiculous. But what'll happen is during a multi-ball, a different multi-ball, you can still make progress towards starting Coffin or collecting, prepping your locks, if you will. So you can keep bashing away on this thing during a multi-ball, or it's just going to keep hitting it as you're making shots, whether you're shooting for it or not. And eventually, hopefully, if you're lucky during a game, you'll have hit it enough times to lock enough balls for a multi-ball. Let's dedicate the rest of this game here to just beating on the coffin a little bit more. And looks like we're about to actually start Sparky as well. I can tell, obviously, because of the lighting. And we got another lock lit. Now, the thing is, on the Premium LE, if it doesn't grab it on the magnet when you hit it up there and you still hit it, you're still making progress towards your next lock. So it's not like it's a waste if it doesn't grab it. Because it really does need to kind of be... I mentioned before about you can make progress during another multi-ball, which we're doing right now. You won't be able to lock balls during it, but you can make progress towards getting your locks ready. And the other thing is, the coffin is one of a few ways that you can get a extra ball as well. Enough hits on the coffin and you can get an extra ball. The extra ball is collected at the scoop on the right, which we did collect already. Alright, let's see if we can... There we go. Locked another ball. And I think our third one might actually be ready as well. Hey, Frankie, how you doing, man? We're doing a little bit of Metallica tutorial action here. See if we can lock that third one. There it is. So that is our third coffin lock. Coffin Multi-Ball is one of my favorites. So it's a 3-ball multi-ball. Actually, strike that. It's a 4-ball multi-ball. And it basically just gives out jackpots by going back and forth between making shots and then hitting the coffin. So I made one of the lit shots, and now the coffin is flashing and wants me to shoot that. And same way as before, you could spend your time hitting the pick targets, and you can get an add-a-ball and a ball save and all that good stuff. But there you go. Those are the 4 main multi-balls. I'm just going to let it drain, and we'll go on to talk about the real thing that I need to get to here. Oh, forgot we had an extra ball. It looks like we have Snake Multi-Ball ready. We'll show that off real quick. Snake Multi-Ball, 2-ball multi-ball. Once again, I would spend my time trying to hit those pick targets. I got the 2 on the right done. The 2 on the left still need to be hit. There we go. There's 1 left. There we go. We got our 2x multiplier and our add-a-ball. And now we can just keep making shots and collecting points. Pretty much everything's a jackpot. If you're not sure what to do, you could always just bash on the coffin, making progress towards the Coffin Multi-Ball locks, or an add-a-ball, or not add-a-ball, extra ball. But pretty much if you shoot anything, you're going to be doing something good. Okay. There are no Outlane ball saves. All you have is specials on the Outlanes. That's it. So what I'm going to show you next is the mini wizard mode of the game, which I'm going to do it backwards. I'm actually going to show you the mini wizard mode before I explain how to actually get there. But since we have it lit right now, seems like a good time to do that. So it's called Crank It Up. It's very achievable, and it makes for a fantastic goal to set for yourself. And if you actually understand how to get it started, you are going to stand a much better chance actually doing that. So it's the blue light that's flashing on the scoop right now. It says Crank It Up on the plastic. If we shoot it in there, we'll start the mode. Now, this is a kind of contained mode where you can have a real big risk-reward situation. You can build up a huge jackpot. You can try to cash out. You can stay in it longer to make the jackpot bigger. You can try to just get in and get out as fast as possible. If you drain, it's over, and you don't really collect a whole lot other than what you've gotten up to that point inside of it. So let's go for it. First things first, I guess I gotta shoot the scoop. No guarantee. Okay, here we go. Nope, Nope. Usually get this nice amount of pressure right here. It's like there's one shot on the table that you're caring about. And that's the scoop. And we didn't even get it. So I guess I'm not going to show you. I'm going to show you how to do it first. What up, Fishhawk? How you doing, man? Good evening to you, sir. Alright, so now get your brain ready. Because you're going to get hit with a lot of information. And this is not only a thing that might not be the easiest thing to grasp the first time you hear it, but it is really the key to what makes Metallica my favorite game of all time. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now, we're going to talk about the item system of Metallica. This is something that was added to Metallica is like one of its later code updates, and it really turned the game into something special. Awesome. So there's 4 different items that you're collecting while you're playing, and they're listed right in front of you. So your 4 items are right here. There's crosses, switches, coffins, and snakes. So you need to collect 15 of each of these 4 items to be able to start Crank It Up. And there's a real basic way to collect them. And if you had to guess, it's going to be pretty easy. So crosses relate to cross. Now, remember, these are the 4 multi-balls, so it kind of goes hand in hand here. Switches relate to Sparky. Coffins relate to the coffin. And snakes, well, they relate directly to the snake. So if I were to hit the cross shot, I will collect 1 cross item. If I hit Sparky, I'll collect 1 cross item. Or sorry, 1 switch item. If I hit the coffin, I'll collect 1 coffin. If I hit inside the snake, I'll collect a snake. Now, it would be pretty dull if, in order to get to Crank It Up, you needed to collect 15 of each of these by hitting that shot 15 times, that shot 15 times, and so on. So there's this really cool means of how they implemented an item system to make the collecting not only more interesting, more fun, more challenging, or actually a lot easier, and just it opens up the game into something really special. So one thing you may notice is there's 5 kind of main shots on the game. 3 on the left and 2 on the right. That's the left orbit, the cross, the left ramp, the right ramp, and the right orbit. Now these 5 shots all have the same inserts in front of them. And we'll look at the left ramp because it's got the arrow that's flashing. It starts with an arrow at the top, then you've got a switch insert, a snake insert, and then a cross insert. Now there's no coffin insert, but it has the other 3, your switch, your snake, and your cross. So at any given time, there's 1 shot on the board of those 5 that are selected. The one that's selected is the one that's got the arrow that's flashing on it. So right now, the left ramp is the selected shot. So let's plunge the ball. Okay, I'm going to let those go away. So notice our selected shot is there. So if I were to go ahead and hit Sparky, let's see what happens. Ignore I said that, and I'm going to demonstrate that again. Let me hit Sparky. Damn it. One more time. Thank you. Sometimes that wants to work and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so the selected shot, notice that the switch insert is now lit on that shot. All right? So that means if I make that left ramp shot, I will collect 1 switch item. So now I can collect switch items by hitting Sparky or by hitting the left ramp. So now I've opened up how to collect more items. So let's take this a little further. Let's hit the snake. Let's try to hit the snake. There we go. So now the selected shot has the snake insert lid on it. And I'm sure you might also notice that these two shots have the snake insert lid as well. So every time you hit the snake, it'll light the snake insert on your lit shot as well as the two adjacent shots on the left and right of it. So that's why you've got 3 snake inserts lit. So now if I hit the left ramp, I'll collect a switch item and a snake item. So now I'm collecting 2 items every time I hit that one shot. So next on the line is the cross. So let's hit the cross shot over here and then see what happens. A couple things happen. Let's get the ball back under control and we'll explain that. Okay. So a couple things happen. One, we lit the cross on that left ramp. Notice all 3 items are lit. So as you'd probably guess, if we hit the left ramp, I'll collect a switch, a snake, and a cross. So we'll collect 3 items just for hitting that one shot. Also notice that all inserts are now pulsing, flashing. And I'll explain that in a little bit. But also notice that the shot is now moved to the cross shot. Since the cross is one of the available 5 shots, anytime you make one of these other shots, say I shoot the right ramp right now, you can see the shot moved to the right ramp. The flashing arrow is now over here. So now if I were to make one of the other shots, I've got the snake lit on that shot, but I don't have the switch or the cross lit. So say I hit Sparky, and it actually does what it's supposed to. Like that. The switch is now lit on that shot. So now I just need the cross. So let's try to hit the cross. So we got all 3 lit on that shot too. So I'm doing them in the order that it's actually listed. You don't need to do them in that order. You can do it in any order whatsoever. It's just easiest to explain by starting 1, 2, 3 like that. But now, one thing to note is these are now lit. I've got lights lit on 3 different shots. So now if I hit the right ramp or the left ramp, I'm going to collect 3 items on either one. So you can rack up a lot of these items towards your 15 items a whole lot faster via lighting the inserts on those 5 shots. The kicker is, if I drain the ball, all that progress of lit inserts on the 5 shots is going to go away, and you got to do it all over again. Unless, I'm going to take you back here. Notice how I've got the inserts lit and it's pulsing, right? So if we make that shot again, now the insert lights are kind of creeping, and we've started a hurry up at the coffin. Notice the coffin's now going nuts. The guys in the DMD are moshing. We hit the coffin, collect the hurry up bonus quantity, and now notice the insert lights are all solid. So if you complete the hurry up on that shot, now if I drain the ball, those lights and those lights will go away, but the lights on the completed hurry up shots will stay for the rest of the game. So now the right ramp is always going to be available for me, asterisk, for me to hit and collect items. So if I just almost do it properly, boop, boop. There we go. So we've collected 3 items, 6 items, collecting items like crazy, just hitting that. If you're ever curious about what progress or how many items you have left that you need, well, there's a couple ways to do this. You could either hold your button down and go to instant info, or once you've collected your 15 items on a specific one of these 4, you will have it lit up. So we started cross multi-ball. Now, one thing to note is I actually don't care about the multi-ball as much when I'm playing the multi-ball. When I talked about lighting all these items up on these shots, you can do that at any point in the game. You're always making progress on collecting items. So unfortunately that wasn't a great multi-ball. But you're still making progress on collecting items. So every shot you make that's lit is still getting you items. So when you have a multi-ball, it's no longer, I'm playing a multi-ball to try to rack up points and get super jackpots. I mean, you can still do that. But for me, it's like, how many of these item shots can I light up, then start a multi-ball, and then just start making shots to collect items so I can get these lit. So right now I've got the cross lit, and I've got the switch lit. So I still need more coffins, and I need more snakes. And it says right up there, I need 8 more coffins and 1 more snake. So if I hit that right ramp, or if I hit that shot, that gives me a snake. It was also lit for the hurry up, so you can see that's going nuts. Cash that hurry up in. And look, we also locked a ball. So we've got our snakes now too. All we've got left is coffins. So you might think to yourself, well, the only way really to get coffins seems to be bashing the coffin. And although that is true, they haven't left the coffins out completely. So every time you roll over an in lane so basically hitting either ramp or if it just goes up, one thing it'll do is it'll start a very short timer on the coffin. So every time you hit an in lane switch, when you go hit the coffin immediately after that, you'll collect 2 coffins instead of 1. So there is a means of collecting coffins faster than normal. And also, if you're in a multi-ball, that's a great time to bash the coffin to collect all the coffins you need. So let's go through here and collect the rest of our items, aka coffins. There we go. So we got all the coffins we need. Crank It Up is ready. Hit the scoop. Hey, pterodactyl balls. Only beverage I've got tonight is just ice water with some dragon fruit flavor stuff added, Lipton tea stuff. It's generally my drink of choice during pinball streams. That and Yoo-Hoo. But it's good to stay hydrated. Different songs. The song you pick at the beginning is irrelevant. It's just the song that plays in the main background while you're playing. When you do start other modes, if you start cross multi-ball, it plays Master of Puppets. It plays different songs tied to the modes. Snake is Sad But True, but it's more irrelevant. So let's go for that Crank It Up that's on that scoop though. So now that I've actually explained the items, you can see that once it's ready, all your item inserts are pulsing and flashing down here. Also, you're lit at the scoop. And it's going to help me actually explain how Crank It Up works a little bit better. All we got to do is make that scoop. Actually, this is a pretty good time for me to explain one other thing. So notice Sparky's ready to go as well. I could hit Sparky and start playing Sparky Multi-Ball. I have Crank It Up going at the same time. One thing to note is after you're done with your Crank It Up, you can start collecting more items again to get to another Crank It Up. So you can still try to make progress towards getting to this mini wizard mode again. Now, if I were to start Sparky and start collecting more and more items like crazy, it's not going to give me any additional progress towards starting Crank It Up again. So collecting items kind of comes to a screeching halt once Crank It Up is lit. So it kind of is in your best interest, once Crank It Up is ready, that you start it as soon as you can. If you have another multi-ball ready, save it for after your Crank It Up is over. That way, once you're out of Crank It Up, your item count goes back to 0, and you have to collect them over again. Start a multi-ball right when you get out, and then boom, you're right back in there collecting items like a champ. See if we can even start this freaking multi-ball. Not multi-ball. Crank It Up. Crank It Up is not a multi-ball, by the way. Only if you really want to see it. The wizard mode is pretty awesome. The final wizard mode, which is end of the line. I've been there twice. You can get some decent points. Come on, ball. I'll let it do its thing again. But you can get so many points from Crank It Up that it's not necessarily worth doing unless you're just literally trying to get to... Oh my god. Don't do this to me. I'll let it ball search one more time and I'll give the machine a little bit of love at the same time. What is it sticking to? I know it's sticking on the post. This is the first time I haven't actually seen it getting cleared from doing this. Okay, it just gave me another ball. Anyway. Thank you, game. So we'll let that other one drain out once we get... There we go. So once you get it in the scoop, you get to choose one of 4. And they're all similar, but they're all a little bit different. We're going to do the simplest one, which is For Whom the Bell Tolls. GC, you're better off, if you're close, you might want to time out your 4th one or something like that, but your GC is best off done by having really good Crank It Ups. Okay, let me get control here. So let me start by saying you do get a ball save. We're going to unfortunately burn that for the explanation. So all the Crank It Ups have a means of progression in order to complete the mode of Crank It Up. Now, in order to actually cash out and collect your jackpot, it's the same regardless of which song you picked for Crank It Up. Once again, let's go back to our 4 items. What you need to do is collect one of each of the 4. Only one. So we already hit the cross shot, so we got a cross. We hit both the snake and the coffin at the same time. Those are both lit. All we have left to do is hit Sparky. And you have to do these the traditional way of actually hitting those 4 shots. You don't have inserts lit to help you here. And there you go. That's our 4th item. Now if I can get control again. Notice, by the way, Pinball Joe, thank you for the bits. Silent Gloves, thank you for the bits. Notice that the Crank It Up light is now flashing again, which means I am free to collect the jackpot I've gotten built up at 12 million by hitting the scoop. I'm free to do that whenever I want. Notice there's also a timer there. You have the length of the song, so I have 5 minutes to play this mode out. So I can play this for 5 minutes, and then it'll time out. Generally, that's not a concern. You either die or get out well before that time frame. But the other thing you can do is get risky and say, I really want that jackpot to be higher. All you got to do is make shots to build your jackpot. So For Whom the Bell Tolls is really straightforward. Your 5 main shots, notice that the inserts are lit and flashing on each of them. Make one of those shots and it lights that insert and makes progress. And you get a jackpot, 1.9 million there. Now the jackpot itself also goes up each time you make these shots. So each shot has got 3 shots to be made on it. Notice I made the right ramp. It lit one, now the next one's flashing. Oh, and we accidentally went into the scoop. Collected a mystery. Mystery and Crank It Up always gives you progress as well towards completing what you need to complete. So now I get the option. I can collect my jackpot, or I can continue and go back in and build it up more. Let's continue. We still got another 2 minutes left. So if you make that last shot on a given column of shots to be made, like that, it's actually worth twice as much, 4 million. So now if I hit the right ramp, there we go, another 4 million. There's another shot I just made. Oh, we got that second ball out of there. I'm going to let that go. Hopefully it doesn't drain me. So now our jackpot's up to 30 million. So we're getting greedier. So here comes, you know, obviously this is like the crux of what makes this game so good, is you get to this mode and anything can happen. You can really build up a lot of points and feel really good. The cooler part is and I haven't talked about it already, there's a 2x multiplier in this game on the playfield, and that has to do with the fuel on the left side. You can see that little arrow is lit pink. It means it's available for you to start it. So if I shoot behind the fuel shot right now, I'll start a 2x multiplier on the playfield for 20 seconds. So let's try to do that. We've got 45 seconds left. I've actually never timed out a crank it up before. Double scoring. Now, if I hit it in there, 33 million, collect it, turns into 66 million. So now we've just scored a pretty nice jackpot of 66 million. And I mentioned before, hey, we've got that multi-ball ready to go. Let's do it.
He's cooking. I can smell it.
Thank you very much. So here we are on the multi-ball. All our items are still needed to be collected. I mentioned before, hey, you know, it'd be great. Always doing, don't forget about your pick targets. So we got 3 of the 4. Let's go for that 4th one. We're still at a 3-ball multi-ball. This has got a nice ball save on it. We got it going.
Shoot the lit shots and bash the green one.
All right, we got our fuel lit as well. Okay, so now we got our snake lit. We can go for that. Or we collect our super jackpot.
Smells like fried chicken.
There we go. Add a ball. So let's go rack up some inserts here. Wouldn't be a bad idea to take some time to hit a bunch of coffins as well. Lights our extra ball. We just hit the 2x playfield multiplier as well, so we've got that going on. We've collected enough coffins. I can tell because the coffin is now lit. Also not a bad time, if you hit the snake here too, you collect more snakes. So we need some of those as well, so not a bad time to do that. Get another super jackpot. Well, that's gone. So we're back to 1-ball play. And after that 1 multi-ball, we started basically with no inserts, no items collected. And now we're already completed all the switches we need, completed all the coffins we need. We just need more snakes and we need more crosses. We have the extra ball lit on the scoop. There it is. Okay, so let me talk about the doubler again. So on the left side of the playfield, you've got a target in the front where the fuel letters are. Notice that I've got 3 of them lit already and 1 of them flashing. Each time you hit the target on the outside over here, it will progress and light one of those letters. Once you spell fuel, it will light the arrow going behind the fuel target for double scoring. So if I hit that target again, if there it is. Okay, so we hit the fuel letters, and now that's lit over there. So now if I hit that, it'll start the double scoring for 20 seconds. Another thing worth noting is, while the double scoring is active, if you make that shot again at any time, it will reset that timer back up to 20 seconds. So if you're having trouble getting control and it's on this flipper, you can try for it again and keep that doubler going for longer. But usually, once you start your double scoring, if you're in Crank It Up, you want to go right for your cash out and hope for the best. So we started fuel mode as well. I didn't really talk about it. It's not really worth mentioning too much about. If you spell fuel enough times, there's this gauge here right above your insert lights that fills up. And then if you start fuel mode like it is right now, it's just a hit switches. It's like a frenzy mode, if you will. Locked another ball. Oh, there's our 3rd coffin lock. So I guess we're doing Coffin Multi-Ball. We've collected all the crosses we need. All we got left are snakes to be able to go to another Crank It Up mode. And there's a good chance that we will most likely accomplish that with this 4-ball multi-ball. Because pretty much every shot gives me an insert. And we got it already. So now we're just playing this for just make shots, get points, have a good time. We've already made all our progress on our inserts. You could try hitting shots to work towards an extra ball. You could just enjoy the fact that you're getting tons of points. Apparently we started cross multi-ball, which is going to keep the that going. So one thing I didn't mention was with Coffin Multi-Ball, unlike the other multi-balls, it will actually stack. So since I had Coffin Multi-Ball going, I was able to start another multi-ball at the same time, which is bound to happen from just hitting shots over and over again. Shoot the grave marker, they say. And in we go for another crank it up. We'll do fade to black next. That is correct, Peter Van. I've demonstrated that a couple times. It's the 4 pick targets, 2 on the right on the ramp and 2 on the left by the cross. It gives you ball save, 2x scoring, and add a ball. But it only does the add a ball and ball save 1 time per multi-ball. Alright, so once again, same deal. We want to collect our 4 items. Ignore the giant toilet. That's some I have not explained. We do need a cross. And that's over. Should have pushed the other way. Peter Van, excellent question. Most definitely you can. And it is advised to do that. And you will know if you've gotten 4x playfield going in a multi-ball. When you collect a jackpot, there's a specific call out for hitting a super jackpot with 4x going on. So we finished our crank it up. We're back to square one. All our inserts are now unlit. We need to collect items all over again. Something you might notice, though, is all of the progress we've made right now is all gone as far as all the lit inserts on the shots. And there's a reason for that. There was a mode running during that last ball called Seek and Destroy. And in order to start that mode, if you can remember, when you light one shot completely, you light all 3 inserts on a single shot, you'll have the ability to, when you hit that shot again, start a hurry up. And when you hit the coffin, you collect that hurry up. Now, what that does is, like I mentioned before, it locks those inserts so they stay there forever. Well, forever with an asterisk. What happens is, if you can collect all the inserts on all 5 of the shots, you will start a mode called Seek and Destroy, which is what we had running. And it's just another mode that will let you make shots, collect pretty big jackpots. It's not a bad mode. We think we get like 80 million from it when we were just playing it a little bit ago. The only caveat to that is if the mode ends or the ball ends, or when the mode ends or the ball ends, you reset all your progress and you got to start all over again. So now the climb to get our inserts lit again and get the items collected to get to another crank it up, a third one at this point, becomes kind of a starting over point. But we've got some pretty good progress here. We have Sparky ready to go again, I can tell, because of the lights going nuts there, which is fantastic. And another thing somebody called out is there's another mode called Blackened. It's not very profitable as far as I know, and it's very rare to get to, or uncommon to get to, and that is completing the picks. So one other thing I didn't explain, and it's not really viable to really try to do, but it's something else that exists, is the inserts down here, the pick targets for the 4 band members. If you can complete all 4 band members, you'll start a mode called Blackened. Well, in order to complete these, you have to complete sets of picks, full sets of picks. So in order to light the first guy, you have to do 2 sets of picks. In order to light the second guy, you have to do 3 more sets of picks, and that's 5. Next guy, you got to do 4. That's 9 total sets of picks. And then the next guy, you got to do 5. That's 14 sets of picks, which makes it for an extremely dangerous thing to accomplish. So, we can do a couple things here. We can try to start this multi-ball. While in the multi-ball, we're going to try to do a set of pick targets. And I don't know how many we have left to collect our last band member, but we might get to start it while it's running. It's not a multi-ball, it's just a single ball mode. And it will run at the same time as a multi-ball or anything else. So that is a good chance of what we'll be trying to do here. And obviously we're going to go for pick targets anyway. All right, one pick target left. Down to 2 balls. There we go. Snake is ready. Oh, get it? Yeah, we got it. That was really close. There is a very short time frame there where you get lucky. We still have a little ball save action. So now we're still at 2 ball, but we're in a multi-ball. All right. How many, are we close to another? I'm thinking about, is it possible for us to get another extra ball? And 8 blown pistons, extra ball at 10. This is a thing that doesn't necessarily happen too often, but. So if you couldn't tell, there's a lot going on in this game. Not off. I read the lights off, that's why I said that. So blown pistons comes from, you can see how many items are left, a good number of items left. Every time you shoot behind the fuel target over here, you're also getting a blown piston. Right now we're at 9. Oh, we got Snake Multi-Ball ready. Let's do Snake Multi-Ball. We were close to that. And if we get one behind the piston target, behind the fuel target, oh. We also have pick targets we can still hit. A lot we can always be doing. We got pick targets to hit. We've got extra ball that we might be able to collect. There it is. Extra ball is lit. Probably wouldn't be a bad thing to collect that. Well, we got a ball stuck back there. Again, I got to go back there and see what's going on with that orbit.
It's one badass snake.
Ah!
Enter your initials.
Fuel champion. Interesting. $20 million. Lady Justice champion, new one, $16 million. So there you go. Not even a high score. Yeah, if I would have had, I left an extra ball on the table. We couldn't have been but a couple picks away from blackened. Still, that was pretty good. That was more than pretty good. So hopefully, if you're still there, Vex is. Hopefully that was a useful explanation. Hopefully that made some sense. And I got lucky enough to be able to demonstrate while explaining there fairly well. And on that note, exactly, Fuel Champ. Very, very well. So, some good taking away points, and there's still stuff I didn't even get to explain on this. There's still more to be had, but if the idea of how items actually work, how crank it up you can actually get to it, the big draw of the game for me comes from I start that first ball and my focus is totally drawn to lighting up these inserts. It's not drawn to let me bash Sparky so I can start a multi-ball. It's not drawn to let me, it's completely void of starting multi-ball. It's all about let me light a couple inserts up. One thing I really like to do is light up some inserts around the table and then get a multi-ball going. Use the multi-ball, or any of them, being as there's 4 of them out there, to help you collect the inserts. And to me, that was like the big flop of the game. Flip of the game. Flop is a bad word to use, but when the game first came out in the earlier code, it was you had these multi-balls. You start it. You shoot stuff. You get some points. It ends. You go towards the next one. It didn't really offer much more than the enjoyment of making the shots or just any kind of real draw to keep playing. It was just bash, 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 multi-ball, points, points, points. Satisfying to a point, but then kind of leaves you kind of feeling like, well, if you get to the point where you stop and think about what you actually want to shoot at, it doesn't really leave you with a feeling of, oh, well, I just did that. When you can look around the board and at any given point, either flipper is doing stuff, because it's not just, man, I need to hit Sparky. It's, oh, first I already got Sparky, I already got the switch lit on the selected shot. Let's move that over to here by making this shot, and then we'll hit Sparky again. Oh, but okay, so now I'm over here. I got Sparky lit. Well, let's hit the snake to try to light some of those inserts. And then we'll go back over and hit the cross. And now we got them all lit. And, well, we're over at the cross. I could shoot this, but then I'm going to move the shot back over here. So while we're still at the cross over here, well, let's hit Sparky again first. And then we'll hit the snake again so that those will be lit. And now we'll shoot back over here and try to collect that. You kind of, the more you play, the more you see how lighting these inserts kind of just totally takes over the way you think about playing this game. In a sense, it can be good. In a sense, it might draw too much attention away from other stuff. But it's that type of... Sometimes when you have a strategy in a game, it really feels like the game becomes this one-trick pony, this one way to play it. And it's tough for you to enjoy it playing it other ways because you always feel like you're stuck playing it this one way. And what's so great about this is there's so much variety in just hitting the inserts and starting a multi-ball to try to do that. But the whole goal of it is just to collect the items so you can get to the crank it up. And then once you're there, you're left with this like all-in-one shell of a risk-reward. Do you cash out and just get back to gameplay so you can get that next multi-ball going? And sometimes, and it's not to say you can't just get a ton of points from playing the multi-balls. You can, especially if you get Coffin going with something else. Like if you have Coffin and Sparky going at the same time, you're collecting items, you're hitting jackpots, you get a doubler going, you get 4x going. You can really go nuts in those multi-balls sometimes. But to a case in point, earlier in a Crank It Up, what I ended up like pulling a 66 million jackpot out of that one shot. Earlier, I had a Crank It Up where I was playing the Enter Sandman one, and the single shot to get out was 230 million on that one shot, leaving me a total of 360 million points out of that one Crank It Up mode by itself. That was by far and away the largest Crank It Up score I had ever gotten by a good chunk. But just the fact that from that one thing you can either walk away with 1 million points or 360 million points. And when you get into it, you're always at this level playing field. You know, you can always either do amazing or do terrible, or you can just try to bash and collect your 4 items and just get the hell out of there. And you still get a decent little bonus to get out of there. And it's just, to me, that's just so good. It doesn't get old for me because there's always that variety. There's always that flipper balance where each flipper is just as important. And it never, a lot of people equate this game to chopping wood. And for me, it's like, if people are saying that, all they're thinking about is how play a multi-ball, play another multi-ball, and you're just chopping wood. To me, if you're just trying to shoot shots and light inserts, you're never chopping wood. You're always progressing, and it doesn't feel like you're stalling out. I mean, later in the game, if you're just trying to get through collecting items and you're so far away from any of the 4 multi-balls, it might get a little bit more difficult to do that. But that's kind of really a far off thing. And even then, I never felt like I was chopping wood when I was later in the game even. So